Welcome to Heart of the Lion. My name is Anthony Hart. There's enough power in the universe to destroy all of us. There's enough fire in the sun. You could take the strongest person, the wealthiest person, the smartest person, the most beautiful person, and you put them in the sun and they're going to melt. They're going to be gone. You put them in the depth of the ocean at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, they're going to be gone. There's enough power in the universe to destroy us all. And so the fact that we're here means that God wants us here. God wants you here. And that's a super important fact. That's a piece of information that others maybe don't want you to know. There are miracles that have been seen inside of spirituality and crazy circumstances that have happened, and people have survived such crazy things that no one thought they could survive, and they survived it anyways. But there is no miracle that has ever happened that is greater than the fact that consciousness arises in a human being and in life of its own accord, naturally. Nobody is causing your consciousness to come into your life for you to see things before your eyes and make decisions for yourself, and then to change those ideas, to change those understandings. That consciousness, that God essence, that life essence that is flowing through you, the ability for life to exist of its own accord, is happening naturally. Nobody had got on any committee and voted for that to happen. That is happening naturally of its own course. And the fact that life exists is the greatest miracle that we've ever known. The fact that the star comes into being. Nobody is making the stars in the galaxy way out over there come into being. And yet somehow they just appear. They're coming into being. And so are we. Just like the trees and the plants and the birds and the ocean and the mountains and the planet and the universe, and this earth spins, and we didn't make that earth spin. We didn't make that happen. The universe is making that happen. God is choosing to make that happen, and we are that choice as well. We are that choice of happeningness. We are happening into this world. And God wants that in somewhere, God wants that. God wants us to be where we are. God wants us to have the opportunity that we have. And all the religions, all the spiritualities, all the alternative movements, all the Eastern traditions, India and Buddhism and all the native traditions and all these things, all the different books and the religions from around the world, they all try to insert themselves in between that space between us and the universe itself. God, eternal being itself. And they are not in that space. We are directly connected to God. And the fact that God has caused us to come into being means that the greatest miracle of life has been given to us. It has been given to us. We are the chosen one for this life, not for the whole universe, for this life, for our life. And so God wants you, each and every one of you, to be here. God wants me to be here. God wants us to be here, to exist and to choose for ourselves, to make the decisions that we make, to move about in life and to learn and to grow and to develop and to become more and more of what we truly are, and to learn those lessons in a way that we can't forget them. And the only way to do that is to learn it yourself. And so God has given us this life. God has chosen us to be in this life. And there is no religion, no tradition, no spirituality, no alternative faith, no anything that gets in between the fact that God and you are connected directly. Directly. And that is a sacred and holy connection. And, anyway, that's a little piece that I wanted to share. I got that piece from some hard situations that I went through, and it kind of came into me really strongly. If God has chosen you to be in this world, to live this life, and you're not going to get for eternity, you get this life, and then we can talk about afterlife and all that kind of stuff. But God has chosen you for this life, to be here, to inhabit this vessel, and to walk through this life and make the decisions of your life. God wants you here. So always remember that God wants you. God chose you. And you are destined to be here. You are destined to live this life and to feel the thrillingness, the exhilaration, the challenge, the what do you call it? The contrast of what it means to be here in this world and to live this life and to be that consciousness moving through this world. So that's the first insight that I wanted to share. And then the second insight I wanted to share, I was talking to some friends. We were hiking by a river, and the conversation got to how dark maybe the world is getting. Oh, it's getting so dark, and there's no hope, and there was all this no hope talk, and this kind of image came into my mind. Like God, the eternal being, this infinite creation that's happening. The whole universe, the whole cosmos has been being brought into existence, created into existence. On a very small level, Stuart McGill, I always bring this quote up, it's great. He's an Olympic coach, and he talks about the strength starting as a thought inside the mind. That without the neurons in the brain starting to fire and have this thought and sending that down the nervous system, down the nerves, all the way to the muscles, which if you took the muscle and you just shaved it off the body, it's a dead lump of meat. You can't make it do anything. It can't do anything. But if you fire that electrical impulse into it, all of a sudden it starts to fire and it starts to move and it starts to be able to do something. And that fuel, that movement is the electricity, it's not electricity obviously, but the neurological signal sent through the nerves into the muscle. And that starts as a thought between two neurons in the brain. So this thought is fired down the nervous system, and that's how we move our bodies. And that's how the universe is too. The universe comes into creation through God itself, firing impulses and signals that way before that star occurs, there is a happening. And that happening becomes more and more dense until finally it is realized as a star being born into this world, as a mountain coming up out of the ocean, as a thought in our own minds, in our own consciousness, as a baby being born. Way before that, there is all this movement spiritually. And so God the eternal being is causing this movement to happen, that the universe starts to come into being. And it has been doing that for a long time, way longer than we've been around. And so this universe is coming into being. And when we inhabit these bodies, we live these lives, it can seem like maybe some people are taking advantage and using things the wrong way and just being ill with their actions, taking advantage of people and lording over people and trying to basically enslave other people, and all this kind of stuff is happening that people can feel hemmed in by. And especially now with all our technology, we have so much access so we can see all the ills in the world, and it can feel like the world is dark. But I had this image when they were talking about all this stuff. We tend to look at images, we look at videos, we look at these things and we say, oh my gosh, look at the world, look at the world, look at the world. But you're taking it from the outside in instead of from the inside out. And that doesn't mean be blind. You don't have to be blind to what's going on in the world. See what's going on in the world, but also remember your own innate power, that you have the power to perceive, to understand, to act, to believe, to have faith. Someone who has ultimate faith and courage in a challenging situation does amazing things. And somebody who has no faith and no courage gets squashed by the littlest, tiniest of things that happens. And so we can change so much by embracing our own power inside of us, our own innate connection to God itself, God, the eternal being. We have that power inside of us. And remembering to come from that inside place instead of from the outside in. Anyway, so they were talking about this dismal thing of the world, and I just pictured this dark night on a battlefield, this dark jungle terrain, and all things are going, chaos is ensuing, and God is spinning the world into being. Maybe from the clouds, I saw like a plane flying through the air, spinning, weaving these, still causing things to come into being. We feel like, oh my gosh, the whole world is caving in and it's all collapsing, and yet there are babies being born, and new trees are growing, and new seals are being born in the ocean. New dolphins are arising. New stars are arising. There's so much creation that's happening. Even though we feel like the world is caving in and it's dark, there's still so much creation happening. The tides have not stopped. The wind has not stopped. The clouds have not stopped. The trees have not stopped growing. Things are still being created in this world. And so God is still weaving that into being. And in this dark night, in this jungle, on this deep, dark jungle, where all this craziness is going on, this plane is flying over and weaving creation into existence. And as it's weaving through the sky, through this dark night, I just pictured like God almost sort of like this plane, and these paratroopers coming out the backside, right into the darkness. One more, boo, another seed, another tree, another person, another human being, another baby, another lesson learned, another choice for a different path for your own self with your own power to embrace it. And he was just pushing these paratroopers out into this dark night. These paratroopers, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so much chaos going around. All I got is a knife and a lighter and a canteen, and they're down there in the deep dark jungle, and it's their choice. We can get pulled into all the darkness, or we can start a little fire. We can start a little fire. We can build a little shelter. We can glow a little light. We can have a little sustenance. We can go out and find our way with a torch, and other people that see the light can be pulled to the light. Oh, look. Even in all this chaos, look at this person. This person has got a little light, a little lighter, a little torch, a little campfire, and they're making some goodness come alive. Just like God, that airplane, continuing to make creation come into life, continuing to give that option, that choice, that free will, that decision, that discernment, that ability to have faith and to choose courage and to choose love and to choose truth and to choose happiness and balance and clarity, to look for the clarity, even though it's so dark and you can't see, and put that lighter up and see just a little bit of clarity. And then maybe find one campfire and then sit by it for a while and find a little bit more clarity and camaraderie, and then find a little bit more. And so we're just being pushed off into this universe and given this opportunity, become part of the darkness or become part of the light. Make a little more light for this world. And like that, there are all these little campfires going in this big, dark, vast, mountainous jungle. There's all these little campfires going. People are keeping the hope alive, keeping the hope alive. And that's truly how it's always been. It's always been that way. It's always been where it can seem dark. And the question for you is, do you fade into that, or do you pull out your lighter, find a little faith, find a little courage, and make something good in the world? Make some little corner of your room clean. Make some little person on the side of the street remember something good in this world. Make yourself remember something good that you did, something good, some good kind of way that you can go, or some good thing that you said. And make some beauty come alive in this world. And we can do that. We can choose to do that. And that's within our own power, that own gift that God has given us. This is just beautiful. These paratroopers coming out into the night in the dark jungle and making a little light, and keep going, keep making that light, keep making that beauty. And it's amazing because our sun, the star at the center of our solar system, is making that light. And with that one little light, if you take that light and you zoom out and you see the whole universe, you think, oh, that's such a tiny little star. Such a tiny little star. But then you see that tiny little star from so far away, and you get closer to it, it becomes big, giant. All of a sudden makes life on a whole planet, our planet, Mother Earth, come to life just by that one star. Just by that one little tiny star that said, yeah, I see all this vacuum out here, and so what? I'm still going to become. I'm still going to be myself. I'm still going to shine my light. And through that little light, whole world, whole planet, human beings, whole planet of seals and dolphins, whole planet of mountain lions, and panthers, and jaguars, and elephants, and turtles, and snakes, and birds coming into being. Whole planet full of trees, giant trees, beautiful trees, whole history of humankind, and all the failures, but also all the successes, all the loves, all the children being born can happen just out of that one little light, deciding I'm gonna have a little faith and a little courage inside of this darkness, inside of this total vacuum of anything else going on, of everything feeling like it's collapsing in, and still I'm gonna make that light. So we can make that light. You can make that light, and you can make your choice. You can choose to fall into all the darkness. That's fine. No worries. God's just going to keep pushing out people, and it's just up to you what you want to do with it. I say, reach in your pocket, grab that lighter, make something good in this world, find some faith and some courage, and then maybe one day you're going to be as big as the sun, be helping things grow. Even if it's just in the tiny corner of your room, even if it's just with one child, or one relationship, or just inside your own self, meditating in the corner, feeling something good, thinking something good. Even if it's just you on your deathbed, surrendering to God and feeling balance and harmony for the way that you lived your life. God bless you all, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. These 2 insights I wanted to share with you. Little piece in there, little bit of light, toss it out in the darkness. Maybe somehow it's gonna make something good. One of you is going to blow up and be a big star. All of you are going to blow up, be big, beautiful stars. God bless you all. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for tuning in to Heart of the Lion with Anthony Hart. See you next time. Bye.